Hey babies. So, Unimpressed Viking asks a question that I really struggled with, like, super hard. Um, and almost got a little weepy-eyed when I really, like, thought about the deeper implications. The question is, if you somehow lost your ability to make music, how else would you let out your imagination and creativity? The truth is, like, the very thought of having to live my life without music in it is, like, devastating to me. I don't even know where to begin. Like, it's been an ever-present thing, so the thought of not having it there is, like, it's such a far-out concept. I guess I'd have to... I've always really been interested in film and filmmaking. I made a couple of short videos once as, like, blip videos for my band Phantom Limbs Akimbo, and and I think that's mostly David Lynch's fault, because he took, like, art house cinema and made it mainstream somehow, and has changed. It's just something about the way that he uses sound, music, and the marriage between those and visuals that, it gets my dick hard, man. It just, like, Inland Empire, there's several parts in that where the sound design is just so flawless. Like, that's really an interesting medium for me, and I'd like to explore it more, but it's also a very time-consuming thing, and I'm so busy right now doing sound design for the haunted house I work for and shit like that I haven't really gotten to play with it in a long time, although that's gonna be changing hopefully around November or December. And visual art in general, by no means am I a good visual artist, but it's fun, I like to draw, but I don't really have time, so what skills I had have gotten really rusty and aren't where they should be anymore. And I think that, I just like to perform, so some kind of performance art would be fun. These are things I already kind of do, but, like, I don't know. I really, I derive so much of my self-worth out of music because it's kind of the only thing I'm good at, and that sounds so sad, but it's the truth. And so, take that away, and I don't even know where what I'd do with myself, or, who I'd be, the kind of person I'd be. I guess, I like writing, too, but my problem with writing is that there's a lack of, immediacy with it that, sucker for a quick reward. With music, a lot of the time, unless I'm just having a hard time with something like I am right now with I'm a Ghost, where I have, like, an exact idea in my head, and it's not, like, coming together exactly right. It's pretty immediate for me. Like, I know what I'm going for, I know what I want to talk about, I know what kind of sounds I want to use, that kind of thing. With writing, I found that the one time I did write a whole piece for pleasure, it needed so much editing and work, and by the time I kind of got it into a shape that I was proud of and wanted other people to read, I was already fucking sick of it. And I know that can happen with music too, especially with recording, where you have to literally listen to what you're doing 50,000 times, but I enjoy that work, I enjoy that process. I don't enjoy editing at all. It's no fun. So, I really hate the way that my face looks so shiny. Trust. It's just the computer reflecting off my pallid, pale, and peaked flesh. So, I don't know. I think that, yeah, probably film and writing would have been... Because, when I was a kid, I was such a bookworm. Like, my dad used to take me to soccer games because he was your typical kind of, like, man's man in that regard. He really liked football when I was a kid. So he'd take me to football games, and I'd be sitting there with a book, and the writers that I was into when I was little were like Stephen King and Clive Barker, and Clive Barker's such a wonderful writer. He clearly loves words and loves to play with words, and then I believe I was a sophomore or junior in high school when I discovered the Beats, Kerouac, Ginsberg, and Burroughs. Kerouac I've always thought was the Disney beat, is what I've coined him, because On the Road never did anything for me. It just kind of seemed almost like a frat boy party kid chronicling his partying, which I could give a fuck about. And Ginsberg I enjoy, but it's fleeting, transitory stuff. Burroughs, kid, he's... When I read Burroughs, it just blew the walls off, I read Naked Lunch first. I guess that's, a lot of people's, introduction to Burroughs, and when I was reading Naked Lunch, it just completely changed my idea of what a book can be, and the same with Cities of the Red Night. Because it kaleidoscopes in on itself. There's so many different storylines that all end up it literally just in at the end, and it's a total head trip to read. You feel like you're on drugs reading it. And Philip K. Dick does that as well. Whenever a writer has a voice that gives you a different voice in your head when you're reading it, other than your own, where they have their own narrator when you read it, that's a good writer. And all of those writers have done that for me, and Barker and King were huge inspirations when I was a kid. They were rock stars to me, and so I wanted to follow in their footsteps and would write shitty little short stories that, were just embarrassing to read. But, I don't know. I guess that would really be it. Hard fucking question. Sorry that was such a tangential, weird-ass answer. I don't know. But yeah, there you go.